What's going on, everybody? It's me, Joel Simmons, back on the Tenacity Foundation for another It Starts With Me. You know, we're doing a wonderful thing here, and it's been a joy so far. It's a brand new year. I hope that you're enjoying this new year. 2022 is going to be amazing. So this is our fourth edition. But before we get into who our guest speaker is, I know you all are waiting out there to hear like there's supposed to be drum rolls and things like that. Maybe there'll be like elephants coming out and, tuning, almost like Mufasa type of stuff. But listen, it's because she's really amazing. But listen, this is what I want to share with you real quick. Remember that we have Motivation with Mike, Motivational Mike Monday, all right, 9 o'clock p.m. Remember to check him out, 9 o'clock p.m. Mike is the co-host of the Community Beacon, and he's doing a fantastic job on Monday nights. So please be there. Check him out on YouTube and LinkedIn, all right? Of course, It Starts With Me is here every single Wednesday, 12:30, where we will be featuring different guests each week, or I'll come in and do a solo. All right. And then also the Community Beacon. It airs every single Friday night at 6:30 with your host, myself, Joel Simmons, and also Michael Seville. And you can check us out also on Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. So now we're getting ready today. Y'all know me. I'm just like filling up with all this energy. I just can't stop. Sometimes I got to slow down. My wife looks at me. She's like, all right. Chill out. We have the audacious, confident, role expert, and former Miss Elite U.S. Woman of Achievement, the Alicia Couri. Rah. Yes. Yay! We got you here. I'm so glad. Let me finish this out. I want to let us all bask in some of these things. Right? You are a boutique consultant. You have you started up, and you are the CEO of the Alicia Couri Incorporated, a boutique consulting firm specializing in the development of audaciously proactive leaders and teams using brain science and people data to get results. You're a Colby certified consultant, a predictive index talent optimization certified. You founded the Red Carpet CEO, a digital media company which produces content on multiple outlets. You also are a nationally syndicate podcast leading individual with the Leading with Audacious Confidence, with 3 live web shows, the Small Business Saturday Shout Out, which I was on, the Love My Body, Love Myself, and Unleash Your Audacious Confidence on Win Women TV. You are also the author of multiple books, a speaker, an actor. You coach leaders to show up more powerful with strong executive presence. You are also the advisory board of the Kaiser University, a faculty member of the Bold Hoss and Incorporated 5,000 company, and a marketing chairperson of the Black-Owned Media Alliance. Welcome, Alicia Couri, to the It Starts With Me podcast.
It starts with me. Yes, love it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the invitation to be here today.
Awesome. I'm so glad that you accepted it. I'm glad to have you here. You are inspiration wherever you go. And I just love it. You've inspired me from the very beginning of my journey and what we are doing at the Tenacity Foundation. So it is only fit that you should be a part of this podcast, and we're glad to have you. How is your week going?
It's going great. My mom has been with me. She came to visit me from Trinidad just before the pandemic, and she was only supposed to be here for 6 months, and 2 years later, she's finally going home. But it's been good. It's been a good week. My sister's here to take her back home and getting to spend some time with family. So it's awesome.
That's nice. Family is very important. And sometimes as we are developing ourselves, personal development, and as we are expanding ourselves, sometimes family, it seems like they can get left behind, and you really have to kind of check some of your aspirations at the door, even if it's momentarily, just so that you can get back in with that family and make sure that that vibe is still vibrant, that that love is still being shared. And it's just impressive that with all that you do, because I know we didn't even highlight all of the smaller things and the medium things and the larger things that you are doing every day throughout the community, that you still are making time to take care of your family.
It's important. It's really important because they're going to always be your family. So you gotta, you said something important. Sometimes as we are growing and moving, and we want to move at a faster pace. At least I do. I always want to move at a faster pace than most people around me. And so checking in, you got to check in every once in a while. Make sure you're not at the top of the hill, leaving everybody in the at base camp.
That's a good way of putting it. Wow, that was like a warrior statement right there,
I tend to go to the top of the hill and look like it's like, hey, where you guys at? Hey, come on. And sometimes they're like, we're cool here at base camp. You do you, and then we'll check you back on your way back. So sometimes it's like that.
But that's awesome, because everybody is not on the same journey, and for us to understand and give the people that are around us the liberty to actually be who they are and where they are. I mean, what you are doing, you inspire people audaciously, I might add.
Yeah.
And that's important, that your family is inspired as well. And they're okay. They're like, hey, listen, you know what? We're not going out there today. You go out there, put on your Wonder Woman outfit, and start knocking out the bad guys. We're gonna stay here at base camp, and when we get back, just bring us some ribs,
Yeah, bring us some food on the way back. Exactly, yeah. Because that's one of the things, and people are surprised because I do. Actually, as you were making the introduction, my daughter called because I cook almost every day for my family. So she was like, what do I take out for you to cook? And it's like, I'm getting Gold Live, figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
that happens.
that can be quite challenging. Now, I know a lot about you, but for all of our listeners who maybe are tuning in and haven't learned who the Audacious Alicia is, tell us a little bit about your family, if you don't mind. A little bit about you.
About me and okay, so I have 3 children. I've been married 31 years, and we have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. I spent a lot of their childhood being mom, being at home, and then when my second daughter was starting school, I started a business because I was ready. I'm really an entrepreneur at heart, and so being a stay-at-home mom, while it was great while they were younger, I was itching at the bit to do something else. And so I did all the things. I PTA volunteer, PTA president, going to all the meetings, doing all the stuff, dance with my girl, doing the mom thing. And so when I started business, I trained and I became a hair and makeup artist. So that was the first business I started in hair and makeup, on-site hair and makeup. And I transitioned from that more recently, I think in the last 7 or 8 years, into who and what I am doing now. And so it was all a transformation process. I started one place, but now I'm over here, but I have all these skills that I learned along the way that I use now for all the great things that I'm doing. So it's as we look at ourselves and the successes we have to look at all the pieces, not just where we are right now, but all the things that led up to getting us there.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And I hope that our listeners are hearing that, especially to our female audience, because many times, I feel as if our females are getting caught up in the, take care of the children, and then they never get an opportunity to explore themselves. My mother, she fought tooth and nail, to be able to bring me to what I am now. We didn't grow up in the best of neighborhoods and things like that. And it was difficult. My mother at one point in time had to have multiple jobs. And at another point in time, she had to drive 3 hours to get to a place of work to be able to rescue me and get me out of the environment that we were in. And as I grew older, just like you, she went on and started her own thing and is successful now. What does it feel like to know that you have like this innate feeling, this feeling as if it's not just yet enough, but I must prioritize my children because they're younger and I've got to ensure that they survive? What does that feel like going through that phase of transition, the before and after?
I want to say that I had the opportunity to do that. I had the choice. My husband worked, and I did not have to work. And yes, at the time we didn't have all the comforts and all the stuff that we do now. It was a struggle being in a single income household. But at the same time, the priority was always my children. I did not, and this is no judgment, so don't take this as judgment on anybody. This is no judgment. This was my choice. I did not want to have my children take the bus to school. I wanted to be there. I wanted to know the teachers. I wanted to be in the school and know who was teaching my kids, what influences were there for my children. I thought for me that was important to be there. And so as they started school, that was the decision. There are some people who don't have that option and can't make that decision, and they work so hard, and I know I couldn't do that. Like, I couldn't do both at the same time, as far as I was concerned, successfully. And so because I had that option, that's what we chose to do with our family. And and yes, at times it was frustrating for me because I did want to work. I did want to go out there and do stuff, but I had to make the priority what it is. And so I feel very blessed that my children are, well adjusted in the sense that they're going through college. I had one just graduate from college. She had some struggles. She had some challenges. Thank you very much. But, she had struggles and challenges with some mental health issues, some anxiety and different things from high school, starting in middle school. But being there, being a praying parent, being a parent that was present there to get her help when I could, that was something that now looking back, when you're going through stuff, you can't appreciate what you're going through. It's just hard. It's just hard. All of it's just hard. So being able to instill our values, our perspectives into our children, and having them come back to question, oh, well, I heard this in school, or I saw this, or something like that, and us being able to impress upon them what we believe instead of just allowing other things to infiltrate them. That was really important. So looking back at that was, I'm very grateful for having that opportunity to do that. My son is still in middle school, but he has the benefit of his older sisters, and he is such a fantastic young man. And I don't take the credit for that because it's all of us that he's seen that example from.
Yeah. There's the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child, And I think that sometimes we kind of get lost in this thing as parents, and we think that we can do it all on our own. But the truth of the matter is that it's nature and nurture that helps to develop people.
Absolutely. when my oldest was having her challenges. And I don't really like talking about my kids that much because they don't like me talking about them. But I kept saying, whoever I can find to give you help, I'm not going to be the one sitting here saying, it has to be me. You have to listen to me. I'm like, help, 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 help. Where can I find help? So that's always been my mentality is, I am not the be all and end all. I don't know it all. I'm a searcher, and I will research, and I will look, and I will seek. But I also want to, ask of others. Did you go through this? What did you do? How did you do this? What can help me? What can help her? So that we can navigate that situation.
That's pretty powerful right there. That's pretty powerful. I love it. So switching up a little bit of camera views. Yes. Listen, that's powerful. I didn't miss one bit of that. I tell you what, I want to move away from the children. I definitely experienced what you are saying, and I understand, and I'll leave this, and then I want to move into your transition. But I remember my wife and I going before like the church community and saying, hey, this is our child, and these are the things that are going on, and now I want to hold you accountable to help me. So when you see this or that or any other thing happening, then what I'm looking for is for you to go ahead and start working on it right then. You can call me up afterwards, but I give you permission to work right then. And we went to like the school, we went to family, we went to church, so that we just built this huge hedge around her. Right. And she's doing well. She's very successful, nice. In college right now, pursuing her dreams. And I'm very proud to say that. But it takes that type of audacious confidence that you possess to get there.
And get rid of the ego. When your child is in need, it's not about you.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not about you. So, yes, let's move on.
All right. So talk.
I'm going to get flack for this. I'm going to get flack.
Oh, no. They'll be like, don't you talk to that Joel again.
Not just Joel. It's like, you got such a big mouth, Mom. You're always talking. So I don't mind talking about me. I can talk about me and the struggles I've gone through in business and stuff. I don't have a problem with that. So let's go. Let's dig in.
Okay, so talk to me more about, this transition, going from, that mother into this career that you are now pursuing 100% and doing really well in, as I might add.
Thank you. The challenge wasn't so much going from motherhood to the career, because I set it up in a way that I was still there for them after school, doing that stuff, because to do makeup and hair, mostly it was weekend stuff. So my husband was there with them, and I worked on weekends. The harder transition was when I decided that I was not doing hair and makeup anymore, and I really wanted to go into corporate consulting. Yeah, that's a leap, right?
Yeah, it is.
Hair to corporate consulting. And so that was where I had already built up a brand and a reputation for makeup and hair over here, and now I'm switching into something else, and that was a gradual transition. I started doing personal branding and different things to kind of build my arsenal of skills, so that when I got into the arena that I wanted to get into I had like a catalog of stuff that I could do. But people remembered me or knew me makeup and hair, so I would keep getting the calls, getting the recommendations, and it's hard to turn down jobs and money, and when they're calling you and asking for you, but you're trying to move into something else, so that became the challenge of Do I say no to the business over here because I'm pursuing business over here, which is not going to make me money right away, but I want to be able to start developing that same kind of awareness and reputation over here that I am skillful in this. So that became the challenge in the transition from one business into the next business that basically had nothing to do with the other.
And I mean, with that type of transition that was going on, I mean, that's a huge leap. I mean, we're talking about finances. We're talking about how do I really do this type of thing?
Different training. I had to take, like I'm Colby certified predictive. I had to take these different certifications and do all these different things. And yes, money, investment, and people seeing me as one thing and wanting to pull me into that, and me having to also make the mental transition, because that's the even bigger transition, is the mental transition into, yes, I am a consultant. I can do this work. I have the tools, but I also have the instinct for it. It's starting that audacious confidence in yourself and believing in yourself that I can do this.
Okay, so that's huge, because you said that earlier as well. You were a praying parent, you had your core beliefs, and in between you had possessed certain skills. So the skills that you had, did you find that you were able to use much of your skill set and your belief to transition into this executive coaching business?
Well, let me just correct that. It's not executive coaching. I'm not an executive coach, but I am a consultant, executive consultant. There's a difference, because I kind of look and map out things. I strategize and plan versus really helping you, coach you through situations. So I lost the question. Go back again.
So with the executive consultant work that you do, the consulting that you do, did you find that the skills, the core beliefs, and your praying nature, did that help move you?
So
it
prepared me some. I had to do a lot of mindset work. I had to do a lot because the work that I was doing before, I was working at a certain level. People would call me, brides would call me, do events, do different things. But in order to work with leaders, in order to work with CEOs, I had to see myself at that level too. And so instead of being behind the chair of just, providing a service with someone, I had to now switch to be the strategic advisor, someone who sees the bigger picture, someone who is giving and instructing you on a way to move your business that's going to have success, versus just providing a service of making you ready for a certain occasion. Because I did, thank you, Stephen. I did wardrobe styling too. So instead of just fixing up the outside to make you look good for an event, now I'm actually strategizing with you. Where are you taking your business? How are you working with your people? How is your team being cohesive? Are they an A team functioning as an A team, or an A team functioning as a C team? And then how do we get them functioning as an A team? So I needed to have my stuff together. I needed to up-level myself. And I've invested thousands and thousands of dollars in my own personal development, in my own training, in my own skill sets, so that I can step into an arena and even pick up the phone and call someone who is a CEO of a small company, mid-sized company, large company. I had to make sure that I was not shrinking, because I had a tendency to do that, shrinking, and I can step up and be at that level.
Okay, so that's a mouthful, right? That's a mouthful, and I can tell that people are really getting engaged in this type of thought process. T. Harv Eker said, "Rich people have their money work hard for them. Poor people work hard for their money." And there's also there's this mindset that comes with reaching this type of level, that you also have to be committed to doing something, and not just wish that it would happen, but you have to be 100% intentional in doing this. And it sounds like that's the route you were going. I want to get to that question from Sylvia Worsham. She said, would you say your focus on your priorities kept you on your path to become the executive consultant? How would you answer that?
Focus on my priorities. I focused on my vision for where I wanted to go, and then the strategy to get there. So if I'm reading this correctly, yes. And still you get derailed, right? You focus on your priorities. It's not, success isn't like this, and it's the smooth line. Again, that mindset thing, you're going up, and then suddenly you slide back down. It's like, or I'm focusing on where I want to go as an executive consultant, but then I get this really great opportunity to do. So for me, I haven't let go of my AC Beauty, my hair and makeup business, because it still does bring me in business. I just don't do it as much anymore. But I always tell people I have one major client. I have one major client, which is one of my coaches, because she doesn't see me just as a makeup artist and hairstylist. She sees my skills, my talents, and my abilities to do that. She's like, you're very gifted in that, so I want to utilize that, but I also see this in you for you to go ahead and expand in this direction. So she hires me to do her hair and makeup for her events, videos, special events, photo shoots and stuff like that, but pays me my value when I do it, and also allows me to be part of her faculty and be there to support her clients. So she sees me as a corporate consultant, but also knows what my skill set is and brings me in to perform those skills whenever she's in need of them. So I am, by doing that, so when people call me to get hair and makeup done, I refer it out most of the time, unless it's really an important, a client that I've had for, from way beyond, and they're like, please, I just need, but most of the time it's like, I don't do that anymore, but I'll give you somebody who is so amazing at doing that. And that's kind of how I keep my priorities kind of in check, is that even though someone's calling me to do this, that's really not what my main business is right now. So I get to choose. Yes. Thank you, Sylvia. Yes. She's a very important part of my community that empowers me to continue to move in the direction I want to go in, but at the same time recognizes the skill set that I have and takes advantage of that.
Perfect. I think that's well said, and I definitely appreciate Sylvia and what she and her comments. I mean, she's absolutely engaged in what you have to say, and so tell us a little bit more about how you set up your priorities, because I heard that in the beginning of our conversation, that you learned that early on when developing your children, and it seems like that is a skill that has produced a lot of fruit for you. And I mean, just to quote T. Harv Eker again, if you want to change the fruits, you will first have to change the roots. And if you want to change the visible, you must first change the invisible. And so I believe that is the route that I hear from you, that you began to change some things on the inside, and that began to change things on the outside. What would you say about that?
Well, my greatest foundation is my Christianity, my spiritual beliefs. So that's always a foundation for me, and then adding. So this scripture, 3 John 2, is really foundational for me in a lot of ways, because it says, "Beloved, I pray above all things that you be in health and prosper, even as your soul prospers." So it's really about, I guess, putting together, for lack of a better term, spirit, soul, and body. So how does your spirit prosper, but then how does your soul prosper, and how does your body prosper? And that's kind of the foundation of why I started the show, Love My Body, Love Myself, which actually, oddly enough, airs tonight. A little plug, but tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. So, it's that's how I set my priorities. It's like, is my spirit prospering? Is my soul prospering? And is my body prospering? Are all elements of me prospering? And when one is suffering because of another, it's time to examine what you're doing. So if you're going after business and you're not eating well, and you're not sleeping, and you're not doing the right things for your health and for your body, then it's off kilter. If you're just consuming spiritually and you're doing all those wonderful things, but in your mind you're not renewing your mind, and you're not working on your mindset and how to grow that too, then again, it's off kilter. So it's really looking at how you're living your life, supporting your spiritual, your soul, your spirit, your soul, and your body. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's how I set my priorities.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement, because sometimes people, what gets improved is what get improves, right? So if you're only working out your body, and then you're out there at the gym every single day, and that's what gets improved, your body changes. So my friends, we would talk about it, shout out to Junior Silvis and to Ricardo Fong right now, because we talk about the Bible in this sense. I'm like, listen, you got to get in there, you got to put in that work. It's time to work out. And so we have like this little saying. People don't know what it means, but we're like, hey man, I was in there, I was working out, I was lifting. And that just means that I got in my Bible, I was digging in, because there has to be balance. An unjust balance is an abomination. So if you're not taking care of your body, mind, soul, and spirit, then you're growing like a teeter-totter. Mm-hmm. But it's evident that what you've been doing on the inside is granting you this great success, because people know of you wherever you go. And even while I'm out, I'm saying, hey, listen, Alicia, she's going to be on the show. They're like, what? Oh, wow. You know what I mean?
But that didn't happen overnight. And one of the things that I'd say in the last 7 or 8 years that has happened. So if you're looking at yourself and thinking, well, it's too late for me, or I haven't done any of this stuff. Listen, things can turn on a dime really quickly, because I was the person that was behind the scenes. I was always behind the scenes, because my whole mindset, my whole existence was not to be noticed. That's who I was. That's how and I won't go into all the stuff from my childhood that kind of made me always want to disappear. So like, I do the work, but I didn't want recognition. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be someone out in the front. But I had an internal desire for that. But I also had a subconscious programming that was holding me back and saying, nope, that's not where you belong. Nope, step back. No, don't go to the front. You don't belong there. So I had a subconscious programming that kept pulling me back, even though I had an internal desire for being in the front. And so when I started unpacking all of that and peeling all those layers back, then I realized what my internal desire is, where really needed to go in that direction and stop listening to the old programming that was keeping me stuck and keeping me from actually being all that I could be. And so you have to start recognizing that in your own mindset, in your own subconscious programming, and remove that old programming. And so now you're saying that it's because I made myself visible. It's because I've made connections and I network and I meet people and I'm doing things that put me out there. Because there are people that say, well, I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be the center of attention. You don't have to be the center of attention, but you need to allow people to know who you are and what you do. And so it's important, especially if you're a business owner and you want your business to grow in this current climate of social media, you have to be visible in some way, shape, or form. And building yourself up to get to that point where you are coming on shows, you're doing podcasts, you're starting your own show, you're starting your own podcast, but you're being visible, you're being a thought leader, you're being someone that people are seeing and hearing from constantly. That is how you start winning and start really changing the direction that you're going and the perception of who you are in front of people. So I had to like gird up my loins and say, all right, I don't like looking at myself on camera. I don't like how I sound, but it's not about me anymore. It's about the message and being able to share that message with people. I was taught this some time ago. I'm going to read that. Don't put it down yet. I want to read what she's saying, but I want to stay connected to camera. That the message that you have is important for people to hear. And what I was taught was the detriment of the detriment. So if someone does not hear your message, what is the detriment to them of that? And then what is the detriment of that to them? And if you continue to go, what is the detriment to the detriment to the detriment, you realize that someone needs to hear your message because they're struggling and they're in despair. And you might be the one person that can share that message to them that they'll hear and turn their life around. So if you keep that on the inside, if you bury it, if you hide your light under a bushel and that person doesn't hear that message, they'll continue the suffering. So it's not about you. That's what I had to realize. It's not about me. I mean, I can look however I want to look on camera and hate the way I look or whatever, but it's not about me. It's about getting the message out. Can you imagine if Oprah decided, well, I'm overweight, nobody's going to want to see me on camera? The impact that the lives that she impacted would not have been impacted in that way. But she went anyway, and she continued, and she shared her struggles with everybody to be more human. So, it's not about us.
That's a lot to take in. Because you're saying that you have to expose yourself. Yeah, I mean, and it's really like a come to realization. Be real. I have to share with you, a few years back, I felt like I was split. I was a person that they saw at work. I was a person that they saw at church. I was a person at home. And I just made up my mind that I didn't want to be it. And you're going to laugh. I think you'll probably laugh because part of my inspiration actually came out of a movie, which I take a lot of things out of movies, but it was The Last Samurai. I don't know if you remember that with Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. And Tom Cruise has just been captured and he's learning how to become a samurai. And while he's learning how to become a samurai, an old man comes up to him and he says, one mind, too many minds, one mind. And right then, Cruz understood that the reason why the people in that old town community were so successful and had achieved mastery at the things that they had done was because they solely focused on the one thing that they were doing and everything else shed away. And they became that one thing. And whatever they were doing, they channeled themselves through it and it became an extension of themselves. And I believe in that, and that was the thing that caused me to believe. It's like, hey, listen, I just need to be Joel. And whatever Joel is, that's who and what I must be. So I started to look for my discovery on who is the real Joel Simmons.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Sylvia. I just wanted to shout out Sylvia and say thank you so much for that comment about self-love. Yeah, it's taken me many, many decades as well to reach that point. Many, many decades. I mean, I'm 52, so it's taken me a while to get there.
You don't look 52 at all.
And thank you very much. And to your point too, again, how you do. One thing is how you do everything, right? That's T. Harv Eker, since you quoted him so much already. I just want to throw that out there too. So, how you show up, and this is what I had to learn in my own branding journey when I was branding my makeup business, is I had to build a personal brand because people will connect with me, whereas I kept putting AC Beauty out there. I kept putting the company out there. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want anybody to know anything about me so much. I wanted them to understand that the company provides great service and you get a fantastic makeup job, hair styling, all of that. And I kept putting that in front. And this was the first time I hired a coach that I thought was going to help me brand my business stronger. And instead she helped me brand myself. And in going through that personal branding process, I realized I had to start connecting me. People had to start building connection to me, and I really needed to know who I was and what I was bringing to the table and how I operated. And it's been that process. It's still in process, but it's been the process of getting there. We'll never actually get there, but we'll always grow to, keep growing towards future perfect. But it's all about the growth process. That's why I say I'm an audacious confidence growth expert, because it's always growing your confidence. It's always growing your boldness. You're always in process of that growth. So
that's beautiful. And I know you wanted to really touch on this, and Sylvia said self-love and self-care is vital to your overall well-being. When you see yourself as God sees you, you truly understand the meaning of self-love. It took me 30 plus years to understand this concept. My own programming held me captive for so long.
Yeah, beautifully said.
Beautifully said.
Love that.
So with that being said, I know that we're getting ready to close on out of this one. I really thank you for this. I got a couple more questions for you, if you don't mind, and we'll close out on those too.
I'll try not to be long-winded.
Okay. One of them is personal development was definitely a huge thing for you. And at what point in time did you realize that? And I'll reserve the other one for you.
What time did I realize personal development was huge?
Yeah.
I love to read. I was always reading books in my 20s and all of that. And it wasn't until I really started doing my own personal brand, like building my own personal brand, that I realized just like Sylvia said, just what was holding me back was the lack of understanding of my own subconscious mind. And then how do I connect, or how do I slow down my reactions that's coming from the subconscious mind? How do I slow those patterns down enough to be conscious, to be a choice, so I can choose to do things differently instead of running off of old programming? So I had to learn through self-development how to do that, what that was and how to do it, how to recognize it, and then how to make those shifts.
But at what point in time was that, in the middle of your transition?
I'll tell you, it was like 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were already doing great things at that point.
I was already doing what I was doing, but I was not doing it to the level that I could.
Gotcha.
I knew there was more, and I just didn't know how to access the more. I kept feeling like someone corked the champagne bottle and shook it up, and I was stuck inside of it with all the bubbles ready to pop, but I have a cork, and and I don't know how to release that cork. So doing the mindset work released that cork.
Yes. All right. So that's how you made access to your passion. All right. And so this will be the last question, and maybe we can come back and do a couple more questions. But what caused the greatest amount of joy during your transition?
Really connecting to me. Like realizing that all the things that I thought were wrong with me, all the things that I thought were flaws about me were actually my greatest powers.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I definitely think that's a good way to close out the show with those lasting thoughts, because when it all comes down to it, it starts with yourself, right?
Starts with me. Yes. So it came full circle.
Yes. Alicia, it was wonderful having you here with us. Sylvia, thank you again. She said, I love that. Yeah, that's perfect. Once again, it was a pleasure having you on the It Starts With Me podcast and live stream.
I love this podcast. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything that you would like to put out there to tell people how they can get in touch with you or what shows you're doing? Go right ahead.
Sure. Thank you so much for that opportunity. So to connect with me, the fastest and easiest way is to go to Alicia360.com, Alicia360.com. I have everything listed. You can just click and connect. Also, I have a free course. It's called the 7 Secrets to Audacious Confidence. So you can go to audaciousconfidence.com and you can do that free course, but you can also find it on Alicia360.com. And so the shows tonight, I have Love My Body, Love Myself. Saturday, it's Small Business Saturday Shout Out that you were a guest on. And on Mondays, I have a show on Win-Win Women TV called Unleash Your Audacious Confidence. So you can, come and be a part of any of those shows at any time. You can leave comments. You can join in the conversation on Mondays at 5 p.m. on Win-Win Women TV. We actually have half an hour of show and then half an hour of discussion, so you can be a part of the after show and talk about stuff. So it's really great. It's on winwinwomen.tv. So that's on 5 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. So that's what I got going on.
Awesome. All right. You all remember Alicia. She is magnificent. Check her out. Thank you again, Alicia, for being on the show today.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. So long. So, hey, everybody, you got a chance to meet the audacious Alicia Couri, and she is audacious. She is magnificent, and she is inspirational. She is pouring out of herself to make sure that other people are able to reach the highest level of themselves. Whenever you think about what you need to do to hire yourself up or to grow in your own mind, remember the words that she has given us, and remember that it all starts with you. You have to go dig deep down inside yourself, begin to develop yourself, love your body, love yourself, and you will be able to reach those types of goals. And if you ever need to reach out to someone, you can reach out to Alicia. She told us, Alicia360, get in touch with her. She'll help you to grow. She'll help motivate you. Find her in everything that she does, because she is a motivation. She's a motivation to me. And if you want to speak with me, you know how to get with me. Come on and check us out at the Tenacity Foundation. Listen, we're getting out of here. It starts with me. It starts with you. So just start. Peace.